Blithe Spirit is a comic play by Noel. The play concerns the socialite and novelist Charles Condorman, who invites the eccentric medium and clairvoyant, Madame Arcati, to his house to conduct a séance in the hope of gathering material for his next book. The scheme, of course, backfires when he becomes haunted by the ghost of his annoying and temperamental first wife, Elvira. Elvira makes continual attempts to disrupt Charles's marriage to his second wife, Ruth, who cannot see or hear this newly arrived ghost. The title of the play is taken from Shelley's poem To a Skylark. For some time before 1941, Coward had been thinking of a comedy about ghosts. His first thoughts centered on an old house in Paris, haunted by specters from different centuries, with the comedy arising from their conflicting attitudes. But he could not get the plot to work in his mind. He knew that in wartime Britain, with death a constant presence, there would be some objection to a comedy about ghosts. But his firm view was that as the story would be quite a frivolous story with little heart, it would then not be such a sad story. After his London office and flat had been destroyed in the Blitze, Coward took a short holiday with the actress Joyce Carey at Port Merion on the coast of Snowdonia in Wales. She was writing a play about Keats, and he was still thinking about his ghostly light comedy. We sat on the beach with our backs against the seawall and discussed my idea exclusively. For several hours. Keats, I regret to say, was not referred to. By lunchtime the title had emerged together with the names of the characters and a rough, very rough, outline of the plot. At 7:30 the next morning I sat with the usual palpitations at my typewriter. Joyce was upstairs in her room wrestling with Fanny Brawn. There was a pile of virgin paper on my left and a box of carbons on my right. The table wobbled and I had to put a wedge under one of its legs. I smoked several cigarettes in rapid succession, staring gloomily out of the window at the tide running out. I fixed the paper into the machine and started Blithe Spirit, a light comedy in 3 acts. For 6 days, I worked from 8 to 1 each morning and from 2 to 7 each afternoon. On Friday evening, May the 9th, the play was finished, and, disdaining archness and false modesty, I will admit that I knew it was witty. I knew it was well constructed, and I also knew that it would be a success. Here's the synopsis. Charles Condorman, a successful novelist, wishes to learn about the occult for a novel he is writing, and he arranges for an eccentric medium, Madame Arcati, to hold a séance at his house. At the séance, she inadvertently summons Charles's first wife, Elvira, who has been dead for 7 years. Madame Arcati leaves after the séance, unaware that she has called up the very dead Elvira. Only Charles can see or hear Elvira, and his second wife, Ruth, does not believe that Elvira exists, until, that is, a floating vase is handed to her out of thin air. Elvira is very moody, in contrast to the more straight-laced Ruth. The ghostly Elvira makes continued, and increasingly desperate, efforts to disrupt Charles's current marriage. She finally sabotages his car, in the hope of killing him, so that he will join her in the spirit world. But it is Ruth rather than Charles who drives off and is killed. Ruth's ghost immediately comes back for revenge on Elvira, and though Charles cannot at first see Ruth, He can see that Elvira is being chased and tormented, and his house is in uproar. He calls Madame Arcati back to exorcise both of the spirits. But instead of banishing them, she unintentionally materializes Ruth, with both his dead wives now fully visible, and neither of them in the best of tempers. Charles, together with Madame Arcati, goes through séance after séance and spell after spell to try to exorcise them. It is not until Madame Arcati works out that the housemaid, Edith, is psychic, and had unwittingly been the conduit through which Elvira was summoned, that she succeeds in dematerializing both ghosts. Charles is left seemingly in peace, but Madame Arcati hinting that the ghosts may still be around unseen. She warns him that he should go far away as soon as possible. Charles leaves at once, and the unseen ghosts throw things and destroy the room as soon as he has gone. But the ghosts thwart Charles's attempt to escape, and his car is again sabotaged. He crashes and joins them as a ghost, with Elvira on one arm and Ruth on the other, lending weight to the saying that there really can never be any peace for the wicked. We shouldn't laugh. Really, we shouldn't. But it was an extremely funny piece of work by the great Noel Coward. I wonder if he's still churning them out, where he now is, on the other side of the great big divide.